Alright, so we're actually going to start with the review today. Originally, we were gonna start with the unit rate, game review, but I feel like the quiz is a little bit more important than the review. So the piece of paper that I passed out to you guys, you need to get that out. You're gonna be annotating on that page and doing your work in your notebook, okay? So everyone should have a copy of the review that we're doing. So again, you're gonna need a highlighter, colored pencil, or if you just wanna use your, pencil, that's fine as well, but just something so that you can see the annotating. Okay, so it says, for number one, it says Pete wrote the ratio of 5-3. Create a real life situation that goes with Pete's ratio. So does anybody have, well, first let's talk about this. So highlight ratio 3, or 5-3. And then just, create a real life situation that goes with Pete's ratio. So what is a ratio that we could use that goes with 5-3? Just something in real life. Kylie? No, that's an equivalent ratio. A real life situation, guys, is something that goes on in real life. For example, there were 5 boys to 3 girls in my math class. That is a real world situation. Jonathan?
5 iPhones to 3 Androids.
So there are 5 iPhones to 3 Android phones. Okay, so there's one. What is another one? Mikael.
There were 5 pairs of jeans to 5 new pairs of shoes.
There were 5 pairs of jeans
To 3 pairs of shoes.
to 3 pairs of shoes? Yes. Alright, what is another one? What's another one? Give me one more. Isabel.
There are 5 pencils, 3 eraser, and erasers.
Alright, so all of these are real world situations, okay? So let's look at number 2. It says, the results of a class election are shown below in the table. Which ratio represents the total number of votes combined that Maria and Lisa received to the total number of votes in the election? Alright, so let's read this question again. It says, which ratio, so we know we're finding a ratio, correct? Represents the total number of votes combined for Maria and Lisa to the total number of votes in the election. So the word combined tells us that what are we gonna have to do with Maria and Lisa's information? Troy?
Add.
We're gonna have to add, so Maria and Lisa, we have to add together. So let's start with that. So we're gonna do 124 plus 90. Alright, raise your hand when you have your answer. Alright, Emma, what did you get?
214.
Huh?
214.
214. Okay, so for them, it's 214. So looking at our answer choices, because this is something you guys have to start doing. What, in our ratio, what number is going to come first? Mikael? 214, because we're doing Maria and Lisa combined to the total number. So I can get rid of A and I can get rid of D, right? Because my ratio is 214 to whatever number. All right, so now I have to find the total number of votes in the election. So what do I have to do with 85 and 102? Mikael? Huh? So if I add 85 and 102, I'm going to get the total number of votes. So essentially, I'm not just adding 85 and 102 together, I then have to add all of these together to get the total number. All right, so obviously we've already done half of that work. So 214 plus 102 plus 85. Please stand up when you have your answer. And make sure you guys are showing all of your work. Okay, so I have a question. Did you really have to do any math to answer this question? No. Because left, like what's left over with our answer choices, we have 214 to 187, 214 to 401. We know it cannot be 187, correct?
Yeah.
So automatically, that one gets crossed off and you know your answer. However, I do want you to show your work because this is your review. So what do we get when we do 214 plus 102 plus 85? Everybody was standing up, so I should have more than just one hand. Zoe? 401. 401. So that is our ratio. That also matches our answer. Okay, questions about that one? Be very careful with your ratio and keywords. So combined is a keyword, total number of votes is a key phrase. All right, let's go ahead and slide down to number 3. So number 3 says, at a school, 62 of 125 students in the 6th grade are boys. The principal wrote 6th grade student ratio 62 to 63. What does this ratio represent? So let's go ahead and annotate, pull out what's important. So at a school, 62 of the 125 students in 6th grade are boys. Anything in that sentence important? Kylie? Right. All right, the principal wrote 6th grade student ratio 62 to 63. What's important in that sentence? What's what's important in that sentence, guys? I gotta have somebody other than Mikhail today. Kaya.
63.
Right, because that tells us the ratio of students. And then the question is, what does the ratio represent? So A, or we're gonna do stand up, sit down. So if you feel like A, B, C, or D, whenever I get to that question, or that answer choice, stand up. Says the number of sixth grade girls to the number of sixth grade boys. Stand up if you feel like that is the correct answer. Nobody? Why? Why is that not right? Mila? Right, it's not in order. It listed the boys first in our original ratio because 62 is the boys and then 120 is the total students. All right, B, it says the number of sixth grade boys to the number of sixth grade girls. All right, so this could be a possibility, so I'm gonna put a little star next to it over here. Have a seat. C says the number of sixth grade girls to the total number of sixth grade students. All right, why is C not the correct answer? Why do we all agree that C does not work? Jonathan?
Because it's supposed to start at boys. Because 62 is.
Because 62 is, it tells us originally that it's 62 boys to 125 girls, or 125 students, sorry. All right, and then D, it says the total number of sixth grade students to the total number of sixth grade boys. Stand up if you think this is the answer. So why does this one not work? Isaac, why does that one not work, baby? Right. So this one really, really enforces the whole order matters. So I want you to write over here, order matters, and this is a perfect example of why order matters, because process of elimination gave us the right answer. Okay, questions about that one? No, we're good? All right, go ahead and I think you guys, you have to slide over to the next page. I'm not responsible for the copies. All right, so number 4 says the table below shows the number of male and female participants on each team at a math competition. Which team contains a ratio of 1 to 3 male to female participants? All right, so there's nothing really important in this top sentence, but let's look at this bottom sentence. It says, which team contains a ratio of 1 to 3 male to female participants? What's important in this question? Troy?
Which team contains the ratio 1 to 3 male to female participants?
Okay, so highlighting wise, I want you guys to highlight ratio 1 to 3 male to female. But the whole thing is important because it's what? Mikhail? It's our question. It's what we're trying to figure out. All right, so we got to find a ratio that is 1 to 3. So I don't see any numbers in here that are 1 to 3. So then this is what type of question? What type of question do you think this is? Emma?
You have to divide it, multiply it to find the answer.
So then what type of ratios would those be? That's okay, and that's fine. You are correct, though. We are going to either have to divide or multiply, so that part is perfect. Look for somebody who thinks they know what we call it. What do you think, Leo?
What kind of ratio it is? Fraction ratio.
They're going to be fraction ratios. You're right, because that's essentially how we're going to set it up. So this is the ratio we're trying to find. And then we're essentially going to go through each one of these and figure out how this one is equal to something else. So what type of ratio question is this? I gave you a hint. Nobody should be solving this problem right now. You should be listening to my question because this is important. So if you have a pencil in your hand, you should not have it in your hand. All right, Zoe?
Equivalent
Yes, this is an equivalent ratio question. Alright, so at this point, this is our male number and this is our female number. So female participants, where is that going to go? Is that going to go on the top or the bottom here? Is it important that we make sure we put the same unit technically with each other? Yes or no? Yes. Alright, so for female participants, we have 6 to 2 over here. So where's my 6 going? The top or the bottom? So Mikhail, baby, put your hand down. I know you know this. You're good. Somebody else has got to work today, okay? Leela. So what is the 1 representing? The bottom. Alright. And then the male participants is going to be 2. So you say to yourself, how do I go from 1 to 2 or 3 to 6? What do I multiply? 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 here, which means I have to multiply by 2 there. Does that work? Because 1 times 2 is going to give me 2. 3 times 2 is going to give me 6. So technically, we have our answer, right? But let's just kind of breeze through the rest of them. So I have 1 to 3 equals 4 to 2. Is that going to work? Because what would I multiply the top by to get 1 to 2? I'm going to multiply by 2, right? So if I multiply the bottom by 2, am I going to get 4? No. No. So I know that one's not right. All right, C, it's 1 to 3 equals 3 to 9. Okay, is this going to work? What do I need to multiply 1 by to get 9? Emma? 9. So if I multiply 3 times 9, am I going to get 3? No. So that one doesn't work. And then the last one, 1 to 3 equals 6 to 5. What do I multiply 1 by to get 5?
5.
And then if I multiply 3 times 5, am I going to get 6? No. No. All right, so that is just kind of showing the process of elimination for this problem. Okay? And just put a little slash through your equal signs on the other ones, because that's telling you that they don't equal each other. All right, this next question is a little bit more difficult just because it's talking about area and ratios. Okay, you guys thought you were done with geometry, didn't you?
No.
All right, so it says which rectangle has a length to width ratio of 7 to 5. All right, so a length to width ratio 7 to 5. So again, looking at this, do you see any rectangle up there that has 7 as a length and 5 as a width? No. So then what do you notice about all these numbers? That they could be possibly what? What type of ratios could they be? Type of ratios, Troy? Yes. So again, this is an equivalent ratio question. So our 7 is going to equal our length, and our 5 is going to equal our width. So we're looking for one that has equivalent to 7 to 5. So looking at 21 to 20, what am I going to multiply 7 by to get 21? What do I multiply 7 by to get 21? I need new friends today. I like all my friends. Christiana. So times 3. So Christiana, if I multiply 5 by 3, am I going to get 20? No. So that one doesn't work, so this one is gone. All right, so the next one, 7 to 5. I'm going to put 25. Sorry, it should be 28 to 25. So what do I multiply 7 by to get 28? Olivia.
4.
So Olivia, if I multiply 5 by 4, do I get 25?
No.
No. So that one is gone. All right, the next one's 7 to 5, so that's gonna be 14 to 20. All right, what do I multiply 7 by to get 14? What do I multiply 7 by to get 14? Leo? 2. So Leo, if I multiply 5 by 2, am I gonna get 20? No. So that one doesn't work. So then obviously the last one is our answer, but let's just go ahead and check to make sure. So what do I multiply 7 by to get 35? Troy, what do I multiply 7 by to get 35? 5. So Troy, if I multiply 5 by 5, do I get 25? Perfect. Good job. All right, so this is the work essentially that you might have to do for a question tomorrow on your mid-assessment. Okay? Everybody got this written down? All right, go ahead and flip your paper over. All right, number 6 says, oil mix paint in a ratio of 4 quarts of red to 6 quarts of yellow to 7 quarts of white. How could Raul express the ratio of the number of quarts of red and yellow to the total amount of paint he used? All right, so starting over that first sentence, Raul mixed paint in a ratio of 4 quarts of red to 6 quarts of yellow to 7 quarts of white. What's important in that question? You guys have got to be annotating on your test. So I need more than 2 people with their hand raised, 3 people with their hand raised. What's important in this question? Elisa. Okay, so 4 quarts, and we're going to include the colors as well. Okay, so 4 quarts of red, 6 quarts of yellow, 7 quarts of white. What else is important in that first sentence? There's one key word that's important in that first sentence. Do you know what it is?
Mix.
Nope. What are we working on? What are we working on? Olivia? Ratio. So essentially our ratio for this one is 4 to 6 to 7, just to keep that in mind. All right, the next sentence says, how could Raul express the ratio of the number of quarts of red and yellow paint to the total amount of paint mixed? All right, so we want to express the ratio of number of quarts of yellow paint and red paint to the total amount. All right, so which number goes with red? Which number goes with red? Kaya? Huh? 4. So we're looking for 4, and then which number goes with yellow? Emmeline? 6 quarts. All right, so what do we have to do with those 2 numbers that we just circled, essentially? Start with that. What do we have to do with that? I'm just waiting on anybody. You don't, I mean, if you know, you can tell me. If not. Right, so we gotta add them together because we're finding out the number of quarts of red to yellow. So we're gonna do 6 plus 4, which gives us 10. So we have 10 quarts to what? 10 quarts to what, Jonathan?
17.
Well, 17 is also the...
It's all been combined.
So it's the total amount. All right, and then yes, we're gonna add the 7 to our 10 because we gotta find the total amount, which is 17. So we're looking for the ratio of 10 quarts to 17 quarts, or 10 to 17. Do you see that one up there? Yes, we do. It's going to be C. Now, be careful with these because if you don't read them all the way correctly, you might pick A. Why would you pick A? Like, what would be a reason that we might pick A? Troy.
You might think the first two numbers would be ratio.
Okay, so not reading carefully, that's why it's really good for us to annotate. Why would we maybe pick B? Why would we maybe pick B? Mikhail.
Because if you don't read the question,
So did you say you would maybe just compare the 10 to the red and the yellow to the white? Is that what you were trying to say? Okay. And then why could we possibly maybe pick D? Because if we forget the order matters. All right. So this next question it's a little bit different than what we've originally seen, probably ever. So it gives you your answer choices up here. So these are your answer choices. And essentially you have to figure out, doing math down here, which answer choice goes here. So it's just a different kind of multiple choice question in a way. So it says the package weighing blank has the lowest price per pound of meat. So that's what we're trying to figure out. Place the best option that completes the sentence. So Sadie is making hamburgers for a party. The table shows the amount of hamburger meat in different size packages and the prices of each package. So we have to find the unit price. Okay? So do you remember what unit price / unit rate means? If you're not sure, can you flip back in your notebook right now and kind of look at some of the stuff we've been doing? So can you look back at the notes that we did on Friday? This page right here. Can you look back at that? Will that help you a little bit? So this is where you should be looking if you're not sure. All right, so we have to find how much it costs per pound, right? So look for the lowest price per pound of meat, and then we have to place the best option there. So where does money go when we're finding unit price? Does it go on top or bottom? You guys remember?
Yeah.
Where does it go?
Yeah, we wrote it.
Okay, we wrote it in our notes, so, okay. If I didn't say it, we're gonna write it, that's for sure, yes. Goes on top. So for the first one, I'm gonna do $6.75 over 1.5 pounds. I have to figure out how much for 1 pound. So how do I go from 1.5 to 1? Nobody knows? Mikhail? So how do I go from 1.5 to 1? That's what I'm asking. Alright, so since we don't know and we can't figure it out in our head, put your hand down. Because you might be the only one. So clearly nobody else in here knows what to do. How do you divide? How do you divide? Do you put one number inside the division house thing and one number on the outside and then you divide, right? So flip your paper over. If you have no idea, this is what you need to do to solve this problem. Alright, so what times 1 gives me 1? What times 1 gives me 1? William? 1. Oops. What times 1 gives me 5? 5. So we are going to be dividing by what? What are we going to be divided by, guys? Emmeline? Right, so this should not have been that hard, y'all. Ooh, Lord. Alright, so if I divide the bottom by 1.5, what do I need to do to $6.75? So I'm going to divide that by 1.5. So I'm going to go back over here because there is no way I'm going to be able to do that in my head. Can I divide with a decimal on the outside? I cannot. So I have to move my decimal over one place, move this decimal over one place. So now I have 67 and a half divided by 15. What do I multiply 15 by to get 67? Or close to 67 without going over. Kaya? 4, which gives me what? And then what do I multiply 15 by to get 75? Christiana? Alright. So for this answer, it is $4.50 per pound. Okay, so this one is $4.50 per pound. That is the process that you have to do for each one of these. Now, you are not allowed to use a calculator on the test tomorrow. So that's going to make this question, that's why this question is going to be difficult, right? Because you cannot use a calculator. However, how many of you guys have a cell phone with you today? A cell phone. Pull out your cell phone. Hopefully there's at least one person at your table. And you may use your calculator to help each other solve the rest of this problem. You're not on it talking, huh?
I didn't bring them with me. Also, my phone was always locked.
Okay. Alright, so again, if you have somebody at your table that has a cell phone, get it out. And you are solving the rest of these problems. So the next one is going to be 1869 for 4/10 of a pound. You have to figure out how much for 1 pound. Then you have 2262 for 5 2/10 pounds. You got to find out how much for 1 pound. And the last one, 2873 for 6.5 pounds. You got to find out how much for 1 pound. All right, I'm going to give you 3 minutes because you get to use a calculator. If you do not have a calculator, you can also use your iPad. Does your iPad, do you guys have calculators on your iPad?
Yeah. All you gotta do is just search it up on Google.
Okay, so you can search it up on Google if you don't. And you're allowed to work together, guys, if you need to help. Okay. So, it's alright if you're not finished, go ahead and close your iPads and just flip your phones face down so that you're not distracted by them. So, what did we get? How did we go from 4.2 to 1? So we divided by 4.2, which means we divide by 4.2. So what do you get when you do 1869 divided by 4.2? What'd you get? Y'all use calculators, guys. Come on.
I think I did it wrong.
Troy. $4.35. Perfect. 45. Sorry. All right. So for this one, it's $4.45 per pound. All right. So same thing over here. What do you do to go from 5 2/10 to 1? What are you dividing by? 5 2/10. So that means we have to divide the top by 5 2/10. What'd you get when you divided $22.62 by 5 2/10? What'd you get? This is slightly disturbing, ladies and gentlemen, that I have one person with their hand up and I let you use a calculator. So here's my question. Did you guys get super thrown off by the numbers? Because they're not as nice numbers as we've been dealing with. Is that what threw you off? Okay. Always think to yourself, when you are doing unit rate, and I need everybody to listen for a second, so put all pencils down. I need y'all listening. When you're doing unit rate or unit price, doesn't matter. If it's set to 1, you're always dividing by this number. Always. So for each one of these problems, you divide by 1.5 for this one, 4 2/10 for that one, 5 2/10 for that one, and 6.5 for that one. You're just dividing by the number that is underneath your original ratio. Okay, so pop up in your phone or your iPad real quick and do $22.62 divided by 5.2. Let me know what you get. What'd you get, Leo? Did you pop open your iPad? You already had it? Okay, cool. All right, Olivia, what'd you get, sweetie? $4.35. All right, so this one is $4.35 per pound, and then the last one is $28.73 divided by 6.5. What do you get? Again, if you didn't get this far, punch it into your iPad or your cell phone right now and get the answer. What'd you get? So $4.42 or 47. Okay, I'm trusting you because my math is not always good. All right, so this is how you figure out the answer to this one. Which one is the least amount of money? $4.50, $4.45, $4.35, or $4.42. Which one is the smallest amount of money? Isabella? So your 5 2/10 pounds is the best deal. That is how you solve a problem like this. This is why unit rate and ratios are so hard, because of all of this work that you have to do. Does that make sense? It's not necessarily because you guys, get up and move. William, get up and move, baby. It's not necessarily because you guys don't know what you're doing, but there's a lot of math, and if you don't get to use a calculator, you could spend 10 minutes on this problem. Just because you have a ton of math that you have to do. All right, let's slide down to number 8. So number 8 says it's similar to the last one. So this one has got 2 blanks, which means you're trying to find 2 answers. So it says customers, number of toppings, and then the cost of toppings. So the customer, number of toppings, and then the cost of each topping. So it says 4 customers at a pizzeria order their own pizza. Each topping at the pizzeria costs the same amount. The table shows how many toppings each customer adds to their pizza. Complete the table by placing the correct amounts. So, Annalise got 2 toppings and it cost her $4. How much do you think it costs for 1 topping? We could probably do this in our head, which we're kind of going to do this in our head. So this is your topping, and this is your money. So how do I go from 2 to 1? How do I go from 2 to 1, Krishna? So I'm going to divide by 2 here, which means I'm going to divide by 2 there. What is 4 divided by 2? Krishna? 2. So each topping costs $2. So if this is my unit price, I now have 3 toppings. So what do I do to go from 1 to 3? So it's a little bit different than what we have been doing. What do I do to go from 1 to 3? Kaya? So I'm going to multiply by a 3 here, which means I have to multiply by 3 on the top. What's 2 times 3? It's 2 times 3. Mila. So the price of 3 toppings is $6. So I'm going to take this answer and I'm going to put it here. Does that make sense? Also, what did you just notice? So we went from $4 for 2 toppings to $2 for 1 topping, and then from $2 for 1 topping for $6 3 toppings. What are we finding? We're multiplying and dividing, but what are we finding? Isabella? Yes, we're finding a pattern, but we've already kind of talked about this a couple times today. What are these types of ratios? What are these types of ratios, guys? Jonathan?
Equivalent ratios.
So this is another equivalent ratio question. So go ahead, show your work, and find how much it's going to cost for 4 toppings. Stand up when you have your answer. All right, Elise, what'd you do? Well, all right, let me ask you this. What's your answer? Yes. So 8 is the correct answer. So then what did you do to get 8? Right. So you just kind of did this, right? And you got your answer, which is the same thing essentially we did here. We'll multiply by 2. All right, so these 2 are my answer. So you're noticing that some of these questions have more than one answer for the question. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and go to number 9. Number 9, we've already done, apparently. So sorry. All right, let's go to number 10. All right, so number 10 says the ratio of black pens to the total pens in Bonnie's locker is blank. So we have 4 options at the top. It says place the ratio that best completes the sentence. Bonnie has 48 pens in her locker. She counts 30 blue pens and the rest of the pens are black. So let's go through and annotate this. Alright, so we're looking for the ratio of black pens to total pens. Alright, and then this sentence says Bonnie has 48 pens in her locker. Alright, what's important in that question? Riley?
Bonnie has 48 pins in the locker, but is unsure of how many pins.
Yes, so this is our total number of pens. So that's going to be important because our original ratio is telling us that we're looking for the ratio of black pens to total pens. All right, the next sentence says she counts 30 blue pens and the rest of the pens are black. So what else is important in that next question? William?
30 blue pens.
So there's 30 blue pens, and then is there anything else in that question that's important? William?
The rest are black pens.
The rest are black. So then what do we need to do to solve this problem? We have our total. So what is our total? What was our total? Christiana? 48. So Christiana, is that going to go on the top or the bottom? So our ratio is black pens to total pens. So if I'm writing it in fraction form, is it going to go on top or bottom? Bottom. All right. Now, do I know how many black pens? Does the question tell me how many black pens I have? No. Can I figure out how many black pens I have? What do I need to do? Raise your hand and tell me. Olivia, what do I need to do, sweetie? Because you're right.
48 minus 30.
Yes. So over here, I'm going to do 48 minus 30, which gives me what? 48 minus 30. Isabel. 18. All right, so 18 is black pens, 48 is the total. What do you notice about our answer choices though? Do you see 18 and 48 in any of these? No. So what do we actually have to do with 18 and 48? What do we have to do here? We have to simplify it. Can I get rid of 8.5 or 8 to 5? Why? Raise your hand and tell me why can I get rid of that one? Mikael, why can we get rid of that one? I can't hear anything you're saying.
Because 18 cannot simplify into 8.
Well, 18 can't simplify into 8, but also, which number is bigger, 18 or 48? 48. So we know that the first number is not going to be bigger than the second number. That's just kind of using the common sense of math, right? All right, so now, Mikael was talking about being able to divide. So Mikael, when we simplify, we have to be able to divide both of these numbers by the same one, right? So what's a number that we can divide both 18 and 48 by? Did you say 6? All right, so let's divide by 6. So 18 divided by 6 gives me what? 18 divided by 6 gives me what? 3? Mm-hmm. So I have 3 black pens. So before I go any further, can I get rid of any of my other answer choices? Troy, which one can I get rid of?
We can get rid of 5.
Yes, so I can get rid of that one because our first number isn't going to be 5. All right, what is 48 divided by 6? What is 48 divided by 6, Jonathan? All right, so do you see a ratio with 3 to, excuse me, 3 to 8? Do we see that ratio? All right, so that is our answer, 3 to 8. All right, questions about those types of questions? like I said, it's just a different form of multiplication, multiple choice questions. All right, so it says select the ratio that is describing each scenario. So each one of these are going to match one of these. All right, so looking at the first one, it says the ratio of blue marbles to green marbles if there are 7 blue marbles for every 10 green marbles. So what is the ratio going to look like for this one? Actually, let's go through. So we know that our ratio is blue marbles to green marbles, and then it's 7 blue marbles for every 10 green marbles. So what is our ratio going to look like? A, B, C, or D? B. And that's 7 to 10. So we're done with B. All right, the next one says the ratio of blue marbles to green marbles if there are 10 blue marbles for every 3 green. So we're looking for a ratio of blue marbles to green marbles and 10 blue marbles for every 3 green. So which one looks like that one? Emma?
C.
C. So this would be 10 to 3. All right, number 3 says the ratio of girls to boys if there are 13 girls for every 10 boys. So ratio of girls to boys, 13 girls for every 10 boys. Which answer looks like that one? Which answer looks like that one? Okay.
D.
Or Kyra, sorry. Yes, D. All right, so it's going to be 13 to 10. And then obviously the last one is the ratio of prizes to contestants. If there are 3 prizes for every 10 contestants. It's 3 to 10. All right, questions about that one? Guys, please make sure you're annotating, circling, whatever we're writing on here, I need you guys writing on your paper, okay? All right, these are the last 3 questions we're gonna go over. All right, so again, different type of multiple choice question. It says the ratio of blank is 3 to 8. It says place the phrase that correctly completes the sentence. So that is what we're trying to do. And it says the table shows the equipment in a baseball locker room. So we are looking for something that gives us the ratio of 3 to 8. So what type of question is this yet again? What type of question do you think this is, Christiana? Yeah, not fractions, but yeah. So a different type, but still the same. All right, so this is an equivalent ratio problem. So I'm gonna start with my original, or my answer, 3 to 8. Now looking at our numbers and our options, so gloves to baseballs. So how many gloves do we have? How many gloves do we have? Neela? 16. How many baseballs do we have? All right, so if I did 16 to 24, what can I multiply 3 by to get 16? Is there anything? Okay. What about the next one? Bats to baseballs. So how many bats do we have? How many bats do we have? Olivia,
8.
8. How many baseballs do we have? 24. Can we multiply anything to get times 3 to get 8? Nope, so we know that that one is not going to work. All right. Again, back to my original ratio. The next one is helmets to gloves. So how many helmets do I have? Cristiano. Okay. And gloves, how many do I have? 16. So what do I multiply 3 by to get 6? 2. So I can multiply this by 2. And if I multiply 8 times 2, I get what? 16. So that is probably my answer, but I do just want to check just in case I maybe did my math wrong. So 3 to 8. So how many helmets do I have? How many helmets do I have? Kaya? 6. And how many bats do I have? 8. So what do I multiply 3 by to get 6? 2. But I cannot multiply 8 times 2 and get 16. So the correct answer is helmets to gloves. All right, number 13, it says Terry bought a pair of jeans for $36. She paid sales tax of $2.70. What is the ratio of sales tax to the purchase price of the jeans? All right, so what type of question is this? What type of question is this? Emma, what do you think?
Equivalent ratios.
Not necessarily. It's not equivalent ratios. All right, so let's go through and annotate a little bit. So it says Terry bought a pair of jeans for $36. She paid sales tax of $2.70. What is the ratio of sales tax to the purchase price of jeans? And you'll notice like there's no decimals in your ratios over here, right? Did you notice that there's no, well, this last one, but the last one isn't going to make sense. So essentially, what is our ratio? We're looking for sales tax. Well, how much is our sales tax? How much is our sales tax? It's in your problem, so all you got to do is look back at it. We actually annotated it. Isabella. $2.70. That's our sales tax. So do you see any of these with $2.70? No. So then what did they do with our $2.70? What did they do looking at our first numbers? What do you think they did? They rounded it up to a whole number. So this becomes 3. So which one can I get rid of? Which one of these can I get rid of based off of the first number, not of our, whatever you want to call this, ratio not being 3? Christiana, we can get rid of D. Okay? Stop, y'all. So then if we round that up, we're probably going to be rounding the other number up too, correct? So the total price of the jeans would be $36. Would it be $36? Why not? Why would it not be $36? Mikael. Well, $3, let's actually do, because we're sticking with the original price for now. So let's do this first. So you end up with $38.70. Now, based off of our numbers, what are we gonna round $38.70 to? Are we gonna round it to 4, 40, or 43? I should have more than 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. This is stuff that you learned a while ago, rounding. All right, Mila, we're gonna round this up to 40. So do you guys see a ratio of 40 or 3 to 40? So the correct answer for this one is B. All right, and our last question for today before you guys get to practice some unit rate stuff. It says, Sela I don't know what her name is, earns $5. She saves $1 and spends the rest. What is the ratio of the amount saved to the amount spent? All right, so she earns $5. How much does she save? How much does she save? I can't even say that. Troy, how much does she save?
She saved $1.
All right, and then she spends the rest, right?
Yes.
So what is the ratio of amount saved to the amount spent? So that is what we're looking for. So are we using the $5 at all? No, we're not using the $5. So anything in here with the 5, can I get rid of? I can. So I'm gonna get rid of B, and I'm gonna get rid of C. Does everybody understand why I'm getting rid of B and C? Is there, you do or you don't? Okay, is there anybody who does not? It's okay if you don't, I just wanna explain why. Okay, so what number is gonna go first? 1 or the rest that she spent? Kaya? 1. All right, so if 1 is my first number, can I get rid of my last answer that isn't gonna make sense? I can get rid of this answer, and I know that that is gonna be my answer. Remember guys, part of taking a test is using process of elimination, okay? So I want you guys tonight to go home and study this. All right, look at the type of questions. You are gonna see similar questions with having to like drag and drop and fill in the blanks and different type of multiple choice questions. That's why we went over this today. All right, you can glue this into your notebook on your Unit 2 review page. Yep. Yep, fold it, glue it in on the page that is empty. Alright, so today you have 2 options. You're either going to play squares or you're going to play 4 in a row. One of these has to do with finding unit rate, and one of these has to do with finding unit price. I do not care which one you do. You and your partner are going to pick. Now, with the 4 in a row, you are going to need counters. These are not laminated, so you are not going to be writing on these. Okay, so if you choose to do 4 in a row, you're going to get the counter from here. And 4 in a row is exactly as it sounds. You're trying to get 4 in a row. You're both doing the problem in your notebook, so that's what this page is for. And like I said, you're not writing 4 in a row or squares. You're writing whichever one you pick. The one thing that you need to know is if you rolled and got wild, solve any problem and cover that answer on the game board. So you can pick any problem that is on. There's no back to these. Where's the back? Never mind. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're not doing four in a row. We're just doing squares. So sorry. Where's the questions? I don't know. Hold on.
Questions on the front with the numbers?
What did I do?
I think it's on the front with the
Oh,
numbers.
it is. Duh. Sorry. Thank you guys. Losing my mind. Yes, you are solving. So like your question, if you roll a 2, remember with the dice, if you roll a 2, Jody can swim 3 laps in 4 minutes. You have to find out how many laps she can do in 1 minute. Okay? So all of this is unit rate. All of this one is unit price. So 12 batteries for $10.20. We need to know how much costs for 1 battery. The squares is that game where like
You have to make a square.
yeah, so let's say you have a black marker, your partner has a red or purple or whatever marker. And let's say I solve this problem and the answer is 59 cents. I put my black marker. Then let's say that my partner is over here and she gets $1.04. And we're going back and forth. Whoever closes this is to color it in. So whether it's Kylie if she's my partner or me, doesn't matter if 3 sides are my marker, if she closes that last side, she gets that square. Does that make sense? All right. Questions about what you're doing for the remainder of class today? No? All right. Go ahead, find a space. Send your partner up to get dice and a game board. All right, what do you want? The squares? Squares? All right, what would you like? 4 in a row? All right, so there's that. And then there's this. And then you hold your paper out.
That's a lot.
If you need more, you can always come back and get more. Okay.
That's a lot of paper.
4 in a row, okay? So you're gonna need this. Alright, so hold this like that. Got it? And then let me give you your dice head. There you go, sir. There's that. And some dice. Oh, so sorry, did not mean to throw that at you. Okay.
I want to bet like a
4 in a row? Okay. So hold it. Like this. Ready? There you go. Alright, which one would you like? So there. Alright, which one would you like, man?
Squares.
Yes, please put your phone away, guys.